What's good, people? In today's episode, I got a problem with, well, the game you're seeing in the background. And if you don't know what this game is, allow me to introduce. Let's talk about it. You're damn right I got a problem with World of Tanks. But, before I say anything, there may be some of you watching who have never heard of this game, which is quite insane, but to those of you that don't know what this game is, let me explain it to you. Obviously, it's a game about tanks, right? But the idea, or the grind set, if you will, is that you pick a tank, you go down a tech tree. What a tech tree is, you evolve from tier 1 to tier 10. Tier 1 being the start, tier 10 being the pinnacle of the line, so to say, right? And how do you go through the line? Well, you get experience. And you get experience by taking your tank onto a match and shooting at other players, and that's how you get experience. You come back, spend that experience on your tank, and eventually you'll learn that tank, master the tank, and then you spend some more experience to get the next tank in a line. So tier 1 is free. Tier 2 might be like, 2,000 experience. So you play X amount of games in your tier 1, get enough experience, and then you go and spend that experience to get to tier 2. Cool. That's how the game works, right? And you repeat that same methodology all the way up until tier 10. Cool. That's this game in a nutshell. So why do I have a problem with World of Tanks? And I say World of Tanks specifically because I've been playing this game on PC, or I played on PC back in 2012, and I stopped playing in 2000 maybe 16. Then it came on a console, which is where you see the gameplay background is coming from right here, and I stopped. And here's where the problem comes in. This damn company is too damn greedy. And I have two shining examples of how greedy this company be. When I say greedy, I mean, monetarily greedy. So, if you play any kind of video game, you will know about loot boxes. They're going to be here, and every gaming company is going to try to dress it up as something different, but deep down at its core, we all know loot boxes. You pay money to a game, you get a box, you open a box, and you might get something good, you might not, but more times out of 10, you're not getting shit. Okay? So, Wargaming does this. The company that owns World of Tanks and various other games, they do this, right? But how they do it pisses me off to no end. See, every game has, they gotta put content into the game to keep the player base coming back and playing the game. Cool, that's how a game's supposed to work, right? But Wargaming in particular, get this, will put brand new stuff in loot boxes. Let me set up one more time. Wargaming will put brand new stuff for the game in loot boxes that you have to pay for, and you pray to the RNG gods that you get the new stuff. Oh, you don't get what I'm telling you? Alright, let me put it to you in layman's terms. Let's say you're a car person, right? And you spend all day on the internet looking at cars and saying, damn, I wish I can have a car. Okay, so boom. Out of nowhere, Dodge partners up with your local car dealership and says, hey, we're giving this exact car dealership near this town that you live in a 2027 Durango Hellcat. And it's just for this year. We're going to stop making Hellcat engines past 2027. You better get this one, or you're not going to see it ever again. And here go you, smiling, ready. You go down to that dealership and look at that brand new 2027 Durango Hellcat, right? So, how do you get the Durango Hellcat? Well, Dodge says, in order for you to have a chance of, getting this here Hellcat, you need to buy a loot box. And in that loot box, there's going to be 5 keys. Now, there's no telling if the key that turns over this Hellcat is in that loot box. But you have to keep buying loot boxes and keep putting the key in the ignition and just pray that it turns over. Once it does turn over, it's yours. No bullshit, that is exactly how this game works, dude. I'm not even lying to you. New game mechanics, new tanks, or new mechanics own new tanks, and also new-ish tanks go straight into loot boxes. Don't even bother selling them outside of a loot box. What you're doing effectively is you're paying for new content that can easily go in the game by itself. But nope, that's their monetization model. And to say that we've been getting these once a year would be a damn lie. Because I can count on one hand the amount of times that Water Tank's PC players have been given the opportunity to buy special loot boxes and get special tanks. Right? And I could go deeper into this by, saying what's in the loot boxes and the freaking monetary value and all that good stuff, but Quickie Baby does a better job of that than I ever would. So I'm just going to say this. One of my problems with Water Tanks is that loot boxes and putting brand new stuff in loot boxes effectively, there you go. What you're doing is you're gambling for the new stuff that can easily go into the game for free. Now, I get it. Wargaming, Water Tanks, is a business, right? And a business needs money to operate. I get it, right? But when you're selling loot boxes for, let's say, $1 a pop, right? And Wargaming has introduced this bad luck prevention system that has like a counter on the bottom right hand corner of your screen that says 50 loot boxes until guaranteed premium tank. Essentially, what you're doing is you're spending $50 to get a guaranteed premium tank. But what if it's a tank you don't want? What if you want a tank that just came out and is stuck behind these exclusive ass loot boxes? Guess what you gotta do? Spend even more money. Yeah, I can't get behind this. So I stopped playing this game, like I said, in 2016, but that was because I didn't have a PC. Now I got a console, I can play the game, right? But console and PC are two different kinds of flavors, if you will. Even though I'm pretty sure PC and console are cross-play on Water Tanks. But that's beside the point. Let me talk about premium tanks. So, premium tanks are not that bad. If anything, they're kind of good for the game. It adds a bit of variety, a bit of spice, different game mechanics, like I said. But how you implement premium tanks is another thing, but that's why I just covered what I just covered. Premium tanks, let's see. How can I explain this to you? Okay, here we go. Let's say your job is to capture wild ass chickens. Like in the wild, in the jungle, you hear a chicken, you grab it with your bare ass hand. Now all of a sudden, here comes Fernando with his jet that is exclusively designed to capture chickens at a much faster rate than you, right? Now, here's where World of Tanks comes in at. You, capturing chickens with your hands, you have the ability to move up in the corporate ladder of the chicken capturing business. You know what I'm saying? You can go from capturing chickens to being the guy overseeing the people who capture chickens to the guy who's above that guy. You know what I'm saying? You can go up the corporate ladder. You can move up in a tech tree, right? Okay, now Fernando and his chicken capturing jet, he can't do that. But what he has in return is a much higher rate of capturing chickens. Premium tank, Fernando. You, regular tank. But there's also another twist. You pay for a premium tank with your hard-earned money. You get a regular tank by just playing the game. So example, back to the analogy here, you apply to be a chicken capturer and you get a job. Cool, just a regular old way. Fernando, on the other hand, family inheritance. His dad flew the same jet, so he got the jet too. But he makes a lot of money, but he can't move up in the company because he's already at the top. You know what I'm saying? Now, why is this a problem? Well, to be honest with you, it's not really that problem or that big of a problem, or wasn't that big of a problem, until World of Tanks started introducing overpowered behind tanks into the game. Now, I would put that in an analogy, but I'm pretty sure you all are tired of my analogy, so I'm going to keep it brief. When you have a tank that does good, right? And then Wargaming gives you a tank, or not gives you the opportunity to pay for a tank that does better than a tank that you already have at the same tier, then that's a problem. You know what I'm saying? How can I explain this, dude? If you're shooting at a tank that has 9 impenetrable armor, and you know for a fact that tank that you're shooting at, someone paid $45 fucking for, and you, just trying to get through the game, get through the tech tree, didn't pay a single dime, but you gotta sit there and deal with this fucker who has 9 impenetrable frontal armor, that's called game imbalance. And once again, that is greed by Wargaming. If you're selling a tank that is bad for the game, because players don't know how to deal with the tank, or the tank is so good that people are spending money and just saying, you know what, screw the game, I'm just gonna play this one tank for the rest of my career. That's a problem. And on the other side of it, when you put that premium tank that you know is overpowered, that you know is better than the counterpart of the same tank, and you put it in a loot box that in and of itself is like, you know, $1 per box, but you won't get that tank until your luck turns good, you know what I'm saying? Like, do you see where I'm getting at here? You put an overpowered tank in a loot box that you gotta pay for, and you won't sell that tank in particular outside of a loot box because you know for a fact that tank is bad for the game and you want to make as much money off a tank as possible. Like, do you not see the problem with that? Wargaming? But hey, to them, it's all money. It's all numbers, you know? So that, my dear people, is my second problem I have with World of Tanks. And at its core, World of Tanks is a fun game. At its core, right? But when you start to add monetization, power creep, players who don't have anything better to do in the game, so they just buy every premium and decide to ruin everyone's day, that's when the game becomes unbearable. And it's so crazy that I'm mentioning all this because I want to say, I could be wrong in this, but I want to say Wargaming are experimenting with bots in public lobbies. Now, I have some gameplay on my channel where I use a KV5 and a guy opposite of me has an Object 252U, which both are Russian premium tanks. Now, me with my KV5, I didn't pay for that tank. What I did was I grinded for it, you know, via campaigns and missions and whatnot, and now I unlocked the tank for free and I got it that way. Cool. Other guy, I don't know how he got his premium tank, but hey, he got it. You know what I'm saying? So we're the only 2 tier 8 tanks in the entire game. Okay. Now, I'm going to play this here clip for you. So people, here's my aforementioned KV5, right? Now, I said in this here video, which you can find on this here channel, I said, these are all real players. I want you to keep that in mind because looking back at it, there is no way that these people are real players. No way. It takes a good amount of time to get to tier 7, let alone tier 8. Granted, the guys I'm shooting at are tier 7. You know what? Let me explain this to you. So, if you win a match, you can get anywhere from like 400 to upwards of 2,000 experience if you do good and if you win, right? The tanks are locked behind modules, and those modules can cost anywhere from like 1,000 to 23,000 to 50,000 experience. But if you win, that's a really big if. If you win, you get above 500, maybe beneath 1,000 if you do really well. That is a lot of time to sink into a game. Now, I'm saying that to put it into perspective. These people I'm shooting at, maybe this guy's a real person, but everyone else, they're bots. I'm gonna say it, they're bots. Now, why is this important? Well, gee, I don't know. Maybe it's because of players that are so fed up with the power creep, the premium tanks, the monetization, the loot boxes that they're leaving the game. And Wargaming is having to fill up the lobbies with players who are gritting their teeth and bearing through the pain of getting power crept, that they're putting bots into the game. So that might be just my theory, it might just be my opinion, but there is a whole separate mode for PvE. Not PvP, PvE. You have reduced rewards, granted, but it's like what? 3, maybe 5 players on each side and the rest of them are bots? It's almost like, I don't know, Wargaming's trying to solve the issue before it even starts. Again, that's just my opinion, I could be totally wrong in this matter. But I am one of many players that have had it with loot boxes, monetization, and power creep. And of course, overpowered premium tanks. It has gotten so bad to the point now where there are multiple versions of the same tank with different skins. So if you don't know what that means, once again, I'll put it into perspective for you. You go out and buy a Mustang, you know, the car, and you go out and buy another Mustang, the same car with a different paint job. Why would you do that? Exactly. Why would I have 2 of the same tank with the same gun, same engine, same tracks, everything, but one just has a different paint job, a different skin, different style? Why? You know? But people, I believe this video is going on long enough, but if you stayed this far, I want to say thank you, and I want to ask one thing of you. In the comment section down below, I would like for you to tell me the breaking point of you playing this game, aka what happened for you to stop playing this game, or the day, or not the day, the month and the year that you stopped playing this game. One or the two. And if you can't comment, you know what I'm saying, just like the video to show me that, hey, I'm one of these people too. You know what I'm saying? So folks, I want to say thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Until then, peace.